And breaking now at 5, a grand jury will consider attempted murder charges against 2 of the suspects charged in that shooting at Ladd-Peebles Stadium this fall. The shooting occurred on October 15th. A judge just within the last hour finding that prosecutors had presented enough evidence to move the case forward. Jai Scott, the teenage defendant, in the courtroom today. So is Fox 10 News investigative reporter Brendan Kirby. He now joins us live with the story. Brendan, a detective testifying that all of this was gang related, right?
Yeah, that's right, Byron. That was one of the big revelations in today's testimony. The detective testifying that the 3 defendants and 4 of the victims were members of rival gangs and that bad blood had been simmering. Mobile Police Detective John Scroggins testified that the stadium surveillance video shows Scott and one of the victims before the shooting talking and gesturing at one another. They actually are not in the same frame, but Detective Scroggins says that investigators were able to make that determination by matching the time codes on 2 different cameras. Then the detective testified a group of as many as 20 people charged down the ramp towards Scott and the other 2 co-defendants. At that point, defendant Hezekiah Belfon pulled out a gun and started shooting, according to the testimony. Detective Scroggins testified that 2 muzzle flashes are visible on the video. He said that investigators recovered 4 shell casings from a 9mm gun, and in a new revelation today, he testified that investigators have matched those shell casings to a Glock pistol found in a car of a Troy University football player. Police say that Belfon, who is still at large, went to that player to get help after the shooting. In all, 5 people suffered gunshot wounds. 2 of those injuries were serious. One of those victims, the one seen talking and gesturing at Scott, was involved in a fight at the stadium during a high school football game 2 weeks earlier. According to the testimony, Scott was in some way involved in that altercation. Defense attorney Dennis Nisley, who represents Scott, and Art Powell, who represents the teenage defendant, both say that prosecutors failed to present any evidence that their clients were aware Belfon intended to shoot anyone.
Obviously, Mr. Scott, my client, did not have a gun. At best, he turned around and spoke with someone who was shouting at him, and he turned to walk from the stadium, and another person shot the 4 people. That's it. There's nothing more.
I understand the court's ruling in the matter. Nevertheless, my client was simply present. He didn't shoot anybody. He didn't pull a gun on anybody.
Mobile County Assistant District Attorney Lewis Walker just got this case, and he declined to talk to us after the hearing. Meanwhile, the manhunt continues for the man that police say pulled that trigger, Hezekiah Belfon. Reporting live from Government Plaza, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.
All right, Brendan, as you just mentioned, U.S. Marshals still looking for Hezekiah Belfon, who's apparently just vanished. He, too, facing 5 counts of attempted murder in the Ladd-Peebles shooting. Law enforcement says Belfon should be considered armed and dangerous. They're offering a $2,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. If you know where Hezekiah Belfon is, call Crime Stoppers at the number you see on your screen.